Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back to another one of our Sunday morning services online for you all. Now, I wonder, where is Squeak? Squeak, where did Squeak go? Oh, Squeak, come on, quickly. The boys and girls are waiting for you. You're the big star here. Yeah, everybody loves you, don't they? They sure do. Yeah, because you're super fun. And boys and girls, we've been having loads of fun this week together, haven't we, Squeak? We have been very excited. We have been enjoying the sunshine. And in the sunshine, we've been going for some walks, haven't we? We've been looking after our plants. And we've been noticing all of the lovely creatures all around us. The birds and all the animals that we can see. We actually put a bird feeder up, didn't we, Squeak? And then what happened in that crazy wind? All the seeds fell on the floor. And now there's no seeds left in our bird feeder at all. Oh dear. So we've been thinking, haven't we, about these animals. And one thing I've been thinking about is, where do they live and why do they live there? So the birds, do you see them? They live in what? What's their home? If they're little, they live in a nest, don't they? And a nest is usually high up in a tree, or maybe you've got birds living in the roof of your house. It's usually a place that's really quite high up. But I wonder why. I think it's because it's a safe place for them, isn't it? Birds are kept really safe, especially when they're little, just eggs. They're kept really safe, way, way high up somewhere that nobody can get to. So no animals that might want to harm them can come to them, or no humans can take the eggs. So that's why they're kind of up there, and it would be really not wise for the mummy bird to build a nest down on the ground, wouldn't it not? It would not be wise. And then I've been thinking about rabbits. I wonder where a rabbit might live sometimes. Wonder, do you know? They live in a burrow. Sometimes if they're out in the wild, they live in a burrow, and that's like a big hole that goes maybe into the ground or somewhere that nobody can get to. And it would be really, really deep down under the ground. And I wonder why they have that. Wonder why they go down into the ground. Wonder why they don't live up in a tree. I think it's kind of similar to a bird. They need to keep all their little babies really safe from anything that might come and harm them. And so they need to put their little babies down under the ground. And maybe if they're scared, when they're adults, they run to the burrow and they hide there because it protects them and keeps them safe. So it's really wise for a rabbit to have a safe place where they can go that's under the ground and away from everyone. And the last animal that I've been thinking about is a little bit different. And I don't know if any of you have been to the beach recently. I haven't. But one animal that I like to see at the beach sometimes is a slightly different one. You can see it up here. It's a hermit crab. Now hermit crabs are interesting because they live on the bottom of on the sand at the bottom of the sea. But their body's really soft. They have a really soft back. Yeah. And so they have to have a shell on top of their back to keep them safe. So when they're walking around, their claws are out and they're walking around on the sand. And then if they get scared, if something scares them, then they shrink up into their shell. And that's their home. And actually, when a hermit crab gets a little bit too big for that shell, because it does grow, then it comes out of its shell and it goes and finds one that's a little bit bigger and a little bit safer. So it would be really unwise for a hermit crab to try and live in if it was to try and live in a bottle, or if it was to try and live just under the sand, it would be eaten by something in the sea and it wouldn't be safe. So all of these animals have a place that they are supposed to live because it protects them. It keeps them safe. And we've heard that it's wise for them to live in those places or keep their little babies in those places to keep them safe. But I'm wondering about us, Squeak. What about us? Where do we live? We live in a house. Yeah, most of us live in a house, and our houses can be made of anything. Bricks, wood, stone, all these different things. But the main thing that's important about a human's house is what it's built on, isn't it? Yeah, it's what it's built on. And we live in a house to keep us warm and to protect us too. So let's think about two things. And we're going to think about this because in the Bible, in the book called Matthew, this is my Bible, and in the book Matthew, chapter 7, it tells us a story that Jesus told. And Jesus told the people this story to help them understand how to be wise, just like we've talked about. And let's think. So the two things that I said we were going to look at are these. Let me see. A rock. And I wonder, can you see this? What's that? It's some sand. So we've got a rock and some sand. I wonder why this would help us think about our house, a human's house. So when we think about a rock, I wonder what you think of. It can be quite rough. It's very, very hard. If I dropped it on my toe, it would be very sore. But it's very strong, isn't it? It's very strong. If I was to put something on it, it wouldn't break and it wouldn't crumble because it's a big, heavy stone. So it's a stone, okay? And then let's think about our sand that we have here. I wonder what you think of when you think of sand. You go to the beach, maybe you put your feet in it and it is lovely and soft. And it kind of feels sometimes a bit, can you hear that? Yeah, it's kind of got a weird sound. But if I was to stand on the sand for a long time, you would see my feet prints in it because it all squishes down and we can bury our feet. So if I was to put something very heavy onto the sand, it wouldn't hold it. Do you think like a stone? I'm not sure. I wonder why we're thinking about these two things when we think about a human house and the Bible. Well, we are going to have a look at the story of the Bible now. And I want you to watch carefully and see what happens and listen well. So there was a wise man who built his house on a very strong rock. And then one day the rain came and it fell and it fell, the floods came and the winds blew and it beat on the house so hard. The rain kept coming and the winds blew more and they blew more, but the house didn't fall. The house didn't fall over because it was standing on a rock that was firm. In the second part of the story, there was another man, and he was a foolish, silly man and built his house on the sand. And so when the rain fell and the floods came and the wind blew so hard, the house didn't stand like the house on the rock. Well, I wonder what that story meant. It's an interesting story, isn't it? And Jesus told that story to the people who were listening way, way back many years ago. And so that story is telling us something very interesting. In the last few weeks, we've been hearing about lots of different stories in the Bible. We've been learning about how we need to listen to God. We have been learning about putting God first in our lives. And we've been learning to trust Him and to say thank you when God has done so much for us. And in this story about the wise man who built his house on the rock and the foolish man who built his house on the sand, we have been learning about being wise. And what that means is if we put all of our life and all of our hope in things in this world like our school, our hobbies and interests like maybe football or gymnastics, if those are the only things that we really spend time in, then they don't last, don't they not? And this story is telling us that we need to put our trust and our faith in something much stronger than just the things in the world. So that means we need to be wise and we need to listen to what God has told us in the Bible. And so we need to put our trust in Him. And He needs to be our foundation for our life. He needs to be what we have built our lives on God. Praying, reading the Bible and learning verses from the Bible too, because it can help us. And God promises us that He will never leave us. And so it's so important that if we put our trust and our lives on the solid rock of God, that when difficult things come, like the rain came and the wind came, when difficult things happen in our lives, that God will be with us and He will not let everything crumble around us. He will be with us and He will give us a peace, which means like a calmness, a stillness inside, knowing that God is with us and He is in total control of everything. So I want you to remember that from this story, we're to learn to be wise and not put all our hope in all of the things of the world, but we're to put our hope and our trust in God, because He is the most important person and He is in control of everything. So I would love for you to take that away from today. And I know I've learnt a lot today too. It helps me remember that I need to keep coming back to God and I need to keep leaning and trusting on Him and keep reading my Bible. Yeah, because it's good, isn't it? Yeah. We have loved seeing you all again today, and thank you so much for joining us again for another Sunday School. I hope you're enjoying them and seeing all of us on YouTube. And I know you're enjoying seeing little Squeak. So we'll maybe see you again sometime soon. But shall we say goodbye? Yeah. Goodbye.